Hello and welcome to Cat Mama Tarot. Thanks so much for joining me today. This is a daily collective reading for Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. And I'm going to be pulling some tarot today, which is pretty much what I've been doing for all the dailies this week. Hope you're doing well. Curious how your week is going. If you've been with me all week, what are you noticing? Are you finding opportunities for acceptance? Are you getting outside into nature? How was your full moon? Did you release anything of note? Or it's really just anything. Doesn't have to be anything big. And if you want to share anything that you'd like to see on this channel, that is also very welcome. All right, let's see what we've got going on for Thursday, April 2nd. What kind of energy do we have going on? What kind of opportunities are available for the collective? Whoa, all right. Whoa, 3 all at once. Okay. Got the 2 of Swords. I'm going to talk about these in a second. The 7 of Swords. And Judgment. And at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Fool. I love the Fool showing up on the day after a full moon. I mean, maybe it would make more sense if it was the day of a new moon, but I do feel like, the Fool is all about starting on a new path, on a new journey. So, you can see the witch's arms are up in the air and they are releasing, you know what I mean? They're releasing anything that's holding them back. They're just like, woohoo! Yeah, and they have spiritual guidance. There's a hawk there, or 2 hawks, is it? I think it is 2 hawks. And they don't have any baggage, right? They've released the baggage. They've released their troubles, their worries, their fears. There's that ship coming in that we often see on the 3 of Wands, which is interesting. I've never noticed that in the Fool card here. So there's another little message, right? Trusting that it's time to start anew, leave the baggage behind, and trust that your ships are coming in, right? That you are moving towards what it is that you want, something good, something's coming in, right? Just like we talked about something was coming in. What day was that? I think it was Monday. No, Tuesday, because Monday was the weekly. All right, so at this point, the future is unclear, right? Where you're going is unclear, and yet, right, you've got the blindfold on, and yet you're right on track, you're right on target. You don't have to know everything right now, right? You're being asked not to make a choice because the best choice isn't clear right now. So that's not the time to make a choice if that's something that's going on for you right now. But also, this card is encouraging us to balance your mind and your heart. So the reason the choice might not be clear right now is because you're too much in your head, or perhaps you're too much in your emotions, right? So there needs to be more of a balance between the two as well. That's another aspect that could be coming into play here. We've got the 7 of Swords. And the 7 of Swords has a couple of different meanings. To me, the Seven of Swords can speak to a sense of futility, like kind of self-sabotage through our mind, right? Through our thoughts, limiting beliefs, old programming, old tapes, old stories, things of that nature, right? So there's, because you've kind of been through some stuff, you're telling yourself, like, what's the point? What's the point? Thoughts of futility, you know what I mean? Because you may be anticipating repetitive patterns, right? But that's not necessarily the case, especially if you're not focused on that. And the other thing that the Seven of Swords can speak to is a need to be strategic. So really enlisting some strategy, some strategic thinking. Finally, we have the Judgment card. And the Judgment card is about being called to rise up and be kind of a new and improved version of yourself, right? Rise up to you 2.0. And you can see the card is number 20. Put a little period in between there. That's 2.0. And a 20 breaks down to a 2. So yeah, you're being called to sing your song. Cats represent independence. I think there's a butterfly there, which represents transformation, right? It's a time to really rise up to the call of kind of who you really are, like to being even more of your authentic self, right? And I feel like, I mean, even though the World is the last card, not the Judgment call, the Judgment call comes right, the Judgment card, excuse me, comes right before the World, which is the end of a cycle, and then we have the Fool, right? Oops. So yeah, it's time to make sure that you are balancing your head and your heart, trusting that you are on target. You're not, sometimes we feel like, oh, like whatever's happening in our lives shouldn't be happening, or, we have regrets, or I mean, it's not really about regrets, but it's just kind of feeling like you're not on track or something, like something's taking longer. Like usually stems from comparing yourself to others, right? Like, why am I not further along? Why am I in this place instead of that place? Blah, blah, blah. But you're exactly where you need to be. You are right on target, even if it doesn't feel like it. So trust that wherever you are, that's where you're supposed to be. Don't think about it, but kind of notice if you're very much in your head. I would guess that maybe, given that you've got the Seven of Swords, that might be the case versus in your emotions, but whatever resonates for you, right? But you're being encouraged to create more balance between your heart and your head. Where are you operating from? Where are you making decisions from? And how's that working out, right? And you want to really notice any voices in your head, any thoughts, any ways that you're kind of inflicting a sense of futility on yourself, any ways that you are kind of sabotaging yourself by limiting yourself based on things that happened in the past, right? Conceive of a different future where you are not that person of the past that experienced that. You learned from it so that you can move forward in a different way and not experience that again. Once we learn the lessons, it's not that nothing will ever go wrong or nothing will ever happen that's similar to something else, but you will not have the same outcome if you learn the lesson, right? We become more resilient. Things don't have the same impact, Anyway, I digress, or I'm rambling, so I'm just going to kind of wrap it up here. Embrace change, embrace a little bit of risk, calculated risk, strategic risk, Trust that you're in the right place. Focus on balancing your head and your heart and noticing and releasing any limiting beliefs, any thoughts of futility, any thoughts that get in your way of becoming the best version of yourself. Right? And just, you don't have to become that person right away, right? Just taking steps in that direction is all you're being asked to do. All right. That is what I have for you for Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. Thanks again for choosing to spend your time with me. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you. I'm sending you lots of love. I hope you have a great Thursday, and what? And take good care, and I'll see you next time. All right. Bye.